What's up guys, it's Fire here, and today I'm going to be bringing you my top 5 ADs. Now I know a lot of you are going to be trying to get the next border before the season ends, and so I based this list on the top 5 ADs right now and their ability and strength to carry a solo queue. I'm also only doing the top 5 this time instead of the top 10 because I really want to go more in depth this time, and I want to tell you exactly why they're strong, the builds that you should be using, and exactly how to play against them as well, because in solo queue you're going to be playing with them and you're also going to be playing against them. So first up then we have Draven, and most of you will be surprised by this because I didn't even put him on my previous tier list, but the reason he's on here now is because of his new passive. It means you can actually play pretty passive in lane, you don't have to win lane to win game, and you can just save up that bank, and then when you do fight mid game and when you do get kills, you'll have a huge amount of bonus gold and you'll be able to get your build that much quicker. So you can see the recommended build on screen now, and it's just because Draven has a very good mid to late game, and he has a huge mid game power spike after that Bloodthirster, and then again after the last Whisper as well. The one thing with Draven is he does have a very high skill cap, and he can carry solo queue very easily if he can catch those axes. The reason why he's on this list is because he can pretty much just carry the game completely by himself if he catches those axes, because he outputs so much damage. So when you're playing against Draven, you just want to wait for him to drop an axe or only have one axe spinning and then engage on him. Most of his lane damage comes from his Q, so when he doesn't have that active, that's your opportunity to trade with him. The other things that are really good against him are displacements of slows that make him drop or miss his axes, so things like Thresh is really good against him because he has his Flay and his ultimate which slow him down and make it impossible for him to catch axes. So the other thing that Draven's weak against is pretty much just any hard engage, because if you get on top of Draven it's very difficult for him to get away from you, and he doesn't really have any escapes apart from Flash, so if that's down you're pretty screwed. So next up then we have Vayne, and the reason she isn't higher on this list is pretty much because everyone ranked higher is very good against her early or mid game, so it makes it difficult for Vayne to just carry the game completely by herself. Now we'll just touch on the build very quickly, and I still buy Blade of the Ruined King for a couple of reasons. The first one is because the range nerf didn't actually affect Vayne that much, because Vayne has to be in someone's face to do damage anyway. And the other reason is because Vayne's main purpose is just to be in someone's face and duel them, and Blade of the Ruined King is really good for that. So the main strengths of Vayne are going to be that she's very good at carrying on her own with a very high skill cap. The high skill cap means the more you play her, the more you're rewarded, and the more you play her, the more elo you will likely gain. Now when you're playing against Vayne, there are a couple of things you need to keep in mind, and the biggest one is going to be a pink ward. So Vayne has to be in your face to do damage, as I said before, and so if you just drop a pink ward when she ults into you, then that completely removes the safety of the stealth, and you can still hit your skill shots, still hit your CC, and it just means that she's probably going to die in that engagement. So the other things that are good against her are poke and short trades. As I said, she's an all-in champion, so if you poke her down, it means she can't all-in you, and you just get complete lane control with no risk involved. So in third place we have Ezreal, and I'm not going to lie, this is pretty much just because Triforce is in such a strong place right now and it makes his poke ridiculously strong. So there are really 4 reasons why Ezreal is so strong in solo queue and why he's placed 3rd at the moment, and the first one is his mobility. So he has a free flash with his E, he also has flash as well, which means you combine the two and you're pretty much safe from any engagement. With the build I'm showing you now, his poke is completely ridiculous when he gets his mirror mana, and it can win the game pretty much by itself. That's why he's not team reliant as a champion, and so he can just pretty much carry the game by himself. You just keep poking before the fight engages. Even if your team actually loses the fight, you can just keep kiting people around, keep poking them, and you can actually just kill everyone yourself. The final thing is that he's very strong throughout the game after he gets that Triforce. So if you're going to punish Ezreal, you have to punish him before, but he's so slippery that it's very hard to gank him. So when you're playing against Ezreal, there are 2 things that he really struggles with, and that's hard CC and hard engage. This can be in the lane phase with someone like Leona, or in team fights with someone like Malphite. So as I mentioned before, he's very strong after he gets his Triforce, and so you really need to punish him when you're laning against him before this. So with my build you get a tier first, and this is your weakest point, so you just need to punish the crap out of him right then, deny him CS, and hopefully this is going to delay his mid game. So in second place then we have Kaitlin, and apart from her just being really strong in general, the reason she's in second place is because she actually does really well against every popular AD at the moment. Now I'm not going to use the word counter, but it is within her power to win every lane against people on this list, and so it means that she can delay their builds. Like everyone on this list is very item dependent, and so if she can delay those big items, she can give her team an advantage, and hopefully they can push that advantage before they get the items. Now there are a lot of different builds that you can run with Kaitlin, but I put a recommended build on the screen now. The reason she's so strong at the moment is because of her long range. She's very safe with that range, and also her ability to kite people around, so she can poke really well with that long range, and that's one of the reasons why she beats pretty much everyone on this list. This poke means that she can get an advantage in lane and keep that advantage, which is going to be really strong for mid game. So there are really 3 ways that you can beat Kaitlin, and the first one is going to be hard engage. Now Kaitlin is a poke champion, she doesn't do well in full engages, and so if you just come back to lane with full health, and Caitlin's full health as well, you can just hard engage and most likely you're going to win that engagement. Now the second thing is lifesteal, because again Kaitlin is all about poke, so if you get an early Vamp Scepter you can sustain through her poke and it won't really matter that she's attacking you. The final thing is that you can abuse her mid game, so she actually dips in the mid game and then is really strong in the late game again, so if you just hold out until mid game you can then beat her in team fights, and that's when you push your advantage. So last up then we have Corki, and none of you are going to be surprised by this as he absolutely dominates at the moment, and I'm going to spend a little bit more time on him as well because I really want to teach you how to play against him, as you will be seeing a lot of him in solo queue. So the build I use is on screen now, and this is more of an auto attacking team fighting build. You can use a different build, but if you want to look at that then go check out my 3-minute guide. So his strengths really are his mobility, his poke, and he's just a lane bully and really strong in team fights, so he's strong throughout the game, which is just crazy. He's a really huge mid game power spike when he picks up that Triforce as well, and he can pretty much just team fight with that Triforce. He doesn't need any other items, so even if he's behind he's still going to have a big impact. So poke is one thing I do want to talk about very quickly, and when you're playing Corki you need to make sure that you always have 4 to 5 rockets in your bank. Don't use all your rockets to poke, because if a team fight does actually break out, rockets are a really good way of blocking the sheen on your Triforce, and so you need to make sure you have them available. So the main body of this is going to be how to play against Corki, because a lot of you are going to be playing against him right now with such a contested pick. So the biggest thing with Corki is that he's cooldown based. That means that he relies on his abilities to do damage, and so if you can dodge his ultimate, and when he uses his Q to farm the wave or his E to farm the wave, you then just want to fight him. When he doesn't have his abilities available, he's not as strong as it would seem, and so you can actually trade pretty evenly with him. The other thing to bear in mind as well is that his auto attacks actually do a lot of damage with the passive as well, so don't just let him auto attack you when you come for a CS. It's much better to miss that CS and just attack him instead and trade evenly rather than just let him get lane control. When you lose control of a lane against a Corki, it's very difficult to get it back because he can just pick his trades and he's not going to trade with you when he's got his abilities on cooldown, so that pretty much goes out the window. So the other thing is just lifesteal. He puts out a lot of damage and he's very good at trading, but when you're under tower and you're farming, if you have the Vamp Scepter, it's going to really help you get back to full health, and it means he can't dive you and he can't bully you out of lane. The final thing to counter him when you're not playing AD is just hard crowd control. So Corki is very susceptible to hard CC and lockdown. If you do actually manage to land anything on him, he's probably going to die because he is just an AD carry at the end of the day. He's not very tanky, and his W kind of has a wind up time as well, which means you can catch him out of position and you can kill him very quickly. So thanks for watching guys, and as you can probably tell I did tweak the format this time. I went down from 10 to 5, went more in depth, so please let me know if you prefer it this way or not. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please do like and subscribe and share it with your friends, it really does help me out. Go like my Facebook, follow me on Twitter, and I will catch you in my next video.